Hi everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers, and today I have a card project to share with you as my Stampin' Show and Tell. If it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you're likely going to see a new video here on my YouTube channel. You can also see all my creations if you subscribe to my Show and Tell news, and that is where you will find all the details for the projects that I feature each week. So the projects I do this week on YouTube will be on my newsletter next week. So you can subscribe today and then get all the details for what you've seen this week. Okay, we are going to play with some new celebration items that were just released last Friday with the second round of celebration. So celebration each year, Stampin' Up! Offers some extra product when you place a minimum of a $50 order. This is the new brochure. There are 3 new items you can get. There's the Eclectic Expressions, there's the Springtime Foil Specialty Designer Series paper, which we're going to use a piece of that today. Now, the catalog doesn't do it justice. This paper is on Whisper White. It's extra thick. It's got 4 patterns. We've got this Vine, which is silver and gold. We have Stripes, which is silver on white. We have Polka Dots, which is copper. And then we have this one that we're going to use today, these Flowers and Leaves, and this is copper and gold. So it's really beautiful paper. It's a nice thick weight. And today we are going to watercolor on it with Brusho. So that's going to be fun. Okay, another thing you can get from the new release is this Blossoming Basket Bundle. It's a stamp set and an embossing folder. This basket weave. We're going to use this one today. And the nice thing about this bundle item is that this folder is going to be available in the new catalog that comes out in the summer of 2018. So if you don't get it during celebration, don't worry, you can pick up that embossing folder with the new catalog starting in June. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some stamping done today. So here's the card we're going to be making. Like I said, we're going to do some watercoloring with the Brusho, which is a new product we have. We're also going to be doing some heat embossing for our tag, and we're going to be doing some dry embossing and die cutting with our Big Shot. So lots to get through today. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull this to the side so you can see all my pieces. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is Brusho watercolor on my Designer Series paper here. So I've cut a square of that. Let me move all this away so we can focus on what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to zoom in so that you can really see me work. So bear with me while I focus the camera. There we go. Alright, so I'm bringing in 2 clear squares. Okay, and what I've done is I've poked a hole in my Brusho and then I've flipped it over and I've tapped it to put some Brusho on my block there, and I've done the same thing with the orange Brusho. I just tapped that and added some orange to my clear block. So I'm using my clear blocks as my palettes. Okay, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see me do that work. Then I'm going to come in with my Aqua Painter, which just has water in the barrel, and I'm going to paint with the powder on my paper here. So let's just do some of that. Alright, so my Aqua Painter is wet, as you can see. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper so I can clean that off between colors. And I'm going to sit down so I can work. So I've tapped some powder on there. I'm just going to add a drop of water from my Aqua Painter and mix that. So the more you have on there, the more color you will have. Okay. And then I'm just going to watercolor the leaves. So this is another way for you to use your Aqua Painters to paint color into your projects. And I think this foil springtime paper is just lovely. It's thick, it's got the foil embossed images already in there. It really makes the project almost itself. So as you can see, I'm just lightly brushing, and I haven't even picked up more yet. I'm just lightly brushing this color into the flowers and the leaves. Now you don't want your paper to get saturated, so make sure that your Aqua Painter isn't too wet. And remember, after it dries, you could always go back and add more color if you would like to. So that's the nice thing about watercoloring. You can really go back and add layers of color after your images have dried. So see, I can grab that one, just a little more green around the edges. Okay, so that was the moss green. Now, when they first came out with the Brusho, I wasn't real happy that they weren't our Stampin' Up! Colors, but now that I've started working with it, you'll see today I'm pairing this with Old Olive for the green, and if you have a really rich color, it's almost like our artichoke, Always Artichoke Green. So it may not have our name on it for colors, but it really will pair nicely with the colors in our collection. Alright, so now this one is the orange powder. And I was afraid from the color on the lid, let's bring that in, it's almost like a fire orange, okay, that it was going to be really, really bright. But with my Aqua Painter, I am able to blend out some of that brightness, but it's still a really nice, vibrant color. So, after I painted it, I decided that this would be pretty close to our Peekaboo Peach. And Peekaboo Peach is also really close to our Calypso Coral or Pumpkin Pie. Really depends on how vibrant a color you end up with that you might want to pair it with. But today I'm pairing it with Peekaboo Peach. Now, because this paper already has all that embossed foil, I can just go right over the top. I'm not worried about, if I was doing this on ink, about pulling any color off the paper. So it's kind of free form as far as adding color to the images. And if you get color outside of where you want it, remember you're watercoloring, so watercoloring isn't always an exact method of art, and just enjoy the fact that you made it, and whoever you send it to is going to enjoy the fact that you made it for them. But there we go. Alright, so we're going to let that dry for a minute, and then I just clean my Aqua Painter off on my scrap mat hair until it runs dry. So, good enough. Alright, so let me close that up so it doesn't dry out, and move my powders off to the side so I don't get them anywhere I don't want them. Okay, now the next part of our card we're going to work on will be stamping and embossing our expression. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that to the side. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit so we can have a little more workspace. So I have a piece of thick white cardstock. Now I use thick white because the DSP is thick white. You can certainly use the thinner white cardstock. Use what you have, use what you like. So I'm going to stamp in Versamark Ink. My outline and my words. Now this one I used before says with sympathy. The new one I'm going to do is what a beautiful blessing you are to me. And with the clear stamps I can place that right where I need it to be. Okay, and I'm going to bring in my heat emboss tray. I've already got powder in here. I just tap it to one side and then I just kind of scoop it up and dust it across and shake off the extra. I'm going to do a lot of cards. I find this is easier than cleaning out the bin every time. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm just going to bring my heat tool in. Now this gets a little loud, but I haven't done this very often on camera, so bear with me. If you don't want to listen to it, just fast forward until I'm done. And I'll zoom in so you can see as I heat it, the powder is going to liquefy and become shiny and raised up a bit. I'm using the copper embossed powder today because the paper we're using has copper foil in it. So I think that'll tie in nicely. So let me go ahead and get my heat tool on. Warm it up a little. And then I'm just going to start, I usually start on one side. And as it starts to change, I just move my gun across the image. Here we go. And you see it starting to change right there? And I just follow that along as it heats up. It heats up, it gets shiny, it raises up, becomes a beautiful piece to add to your card. So heat embossing was one of the first techniques that really wowed me when I started stamping. Well, let's see, I started stamping 18 years ago, and I still love it. So, okay, so I'm going to zoom out so we've got the full table view here. Alright, so we've done our Brusho, we've done our heat emboss. Now it's just down to the die cutting and the embossing on the Big Shot. Now to save a little time and to not make the table shake today, I'm going to show you what I did. So I took my scored cardstock, okay, I did score it, and I have my new folder. So here's a way to run your folder through your Big Shot without getting that really strong crease. So I have my fold and I put it on the smaller, skinnier side of the folder. Then I fold it up. Then when I put it on my Big Shot, I keep it flat. Okay, I run it just like this through my card, and I run it through. And this is a thick folder, so you only have to use one cutting mat on top of your Big Shot base. And after you run that through, you come up with this textured pattern. Okay, so that's going to become the front of our card. Then I've also used my precision cutting plate, and if you haven't noticed already, I used the expression from the Rose Wonder stamp set, and I'm going to use this die from the coordinating Rose Garden Thinlits, and that's going to cut my image right out. So I've done that already as well. So we have that piece done. Okay, now the last thing I have on my card, hopefully you can see it, is I have this little bee. And he comes with the Dragonfly Thinlits, which coordinates with the Dragonfly Dream set, which we didn't use the set today, but we are using the Thinlits. So this little bee die, and he gets cut out of copper foil. Okay, copper, 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 to tie in with our Designer Series paper. And so I've already cut him out as well. So now we can just go ahead and assemble our card. So, like I said, with that Brusho green, it tied in nicely with Old Olive. So I mounted mine on Old Olive. And, oops, come on, snail. So, put that on a piece of Old Olive cardstock to mount it. And I just cut mine a little bit wider than my DSP, so I just have a little bit of a border. See how that's going to pop on the card? And then I have this Old Olive ribbon from the catalog, and I have two pieces. I'll show you what I do. So I put more snail on the back. This is just to tack a ribbon around and wrap it. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this around. Oh, you know what? I think I want the ribbon across this side. So let me change where I have that snail. Okay. Guess I should have looked first, but usually doesn't matter. Alright, so I just put that around the front and then I wrap it around the back. And see how it tacks into that snail nicely? And then in addition to that, I'm going to put dimensionals. Sometimes I overlap my dimensionals right on those tabs for the ribbon to give it a little extra secureness. But we're just going to pop this up on the front of our card with some dimensionals. So there's that. I have a second piece of ribbon that I'm just going to run underneath the front of here because I didn't snail it down on the front. Remember, I only snailed it on the back. So that gives me the option to run my ribbon under and give it a quick little tie. And then I can bring my ends up and give it a snip to have a cute little bow. Okay, you can tweak with that. Then I have my little bee here, and I'm going to use a glue dot. Add him to my image. Right. This time I'm going to put him right here. So depending on how your paper gets cut, put it where you want it. And then I have just my tag, which I'm going to put that on dimensionals as well. So isn't that fun? So I used two Celebration products, the DSP that came out with the second edition and the embossing folder. Okay, I used the Brusho to do the watercoloring, and then I tied in expressions from the Rose Wonder set and the Little Bee from the Dragonfly Thinlits. So some of those you may already have in your collection, some of those you may want to add to your collection. And all the items I used today that I showcased, I will list below. So if you need to do some quick shopping, you can just visit my online store and get what you need. And if you want all the details, measurements, photos, descriptions, technique notes on the projects that I do here, just subscribe to my Show and Tell newsletter. And next week, all the projects that I've put on this week for YouTube will be on my newsletter next week. And then you'll get to know everything else that I'm doing as well. So, fun things for those of you who subscribe to my newsletters. So I hope you enjoyed today's product, and I hope that you're enjoying Celebration as much as I am this year, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here so you get all my videos in a timely fashion. I love thumbs ups or comments below. Let me know that you like what I'm doing, and I'll see you all again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.